Okay, second video of chapter 5. We're going to be doing 2 lessons again here. So we'll be talking about lesson 3 and lesson 4. Lesson 3, we're going to talk about complex fractions. So starting off, the definition of a complex fraction is when you have a fraction in the numerator and fraction in the denominator. Sometimes we call it a big fraction. It would look like this, where we have the fraction a divided by b divided by the fraction c divided by d, which we would then rewrite like this. So a divided by b divided by c over d. We've actually done some of this earlier this year, so this is kind of a review. Our first example here, we have 1/3 divided by 3/5. So the first thing we want to do is rewrite it. So 1/3 divided by 3/5. And if we recall from earlier lessons, when we are dividing fractions, we want to multiply by the reciprocal. So we change it to 1/3 times 5/3. I don't see anything that reduces in this one, so we're just going to multiply straight across. 1 times 5 gives us 5. 3 times 3 gives us 9. So our final answer is 5/9, which does not reduce, but always double check. Okay, now that we've reviewed that, let's look at a word problem. Richard rowed a canoe 3.5 miles in a half an hour. What is his average speed in miles per hour? So miles per hour tells us that miles is our numerator, so 3.5, divided by per hour. Our hour given was a half. Okay, we're going to rewrite this. Now when I rewrite it, I'm going to go ahead and change this into an improper fraction. So remember, 3 times 2 plus 1 gives us 7/2 divided by 1/2. Then we multiply by the reciprocal, so 7/2 times 2 over 1. I see my 2's will reduce to 1. So 7 times 1 is 7. 1 times 1 is 1, so we can just write it 7. And it was a word problem, so we must label miles per hour. So Richard rows 7 miles per hour. Okay, so now that we have talked about dividing fractions, we're going to talk about how we would convert a percent into a fraction. Some of you have asked me this year where percent buttons are on our calculators, and we don't use percent buttons on the calculators now because we're going to talk about how to convert them. So over here, percent is a ratio that compares a number to 100. So percent means per 100, so dividing by 100. Our first example, write 33 1/3% as a fraction in simplest form. So I have 33 1/3 percent, so per, our fraction bar, 100. Now, just like we were doing, I'm going to rewrite this. So 33 1/3, 3 times 33 plus 1 gives me 100 over 3, divided by 100. So we're going to write that as a fraction. So 100 over 1. Multiply by the reciprocal. So 100 over 3 times 1 over 100. I see my hundreds will reduce. So 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 1 is 3, so 33 1/3% is 1/3 as a fraction. Okay, a couple more examples like this. 10 2/3%, so again, 10 2/3 over 100. 10 2/3 converted into a improper fraction would be 32 over 3. Divided by 100 over 1. So 32 over 3, multiply by the reciprocal. I know that 32 and 100 are both divisible by 4. So 32 becomes 8, 100 becomes 25. Multiply straight across. I'm actually going to write my answer over here so I have no space for next problem. So that gives me 8 over 75, and we double check, that does not reduce, so 8 over 75. I'll go ahead and box this answer as well. All right, last one like this, 12.5%. So 12 and 1/2 divided by 100, which we rewrite as 25 over 2 divided by 100 over 1. We then shall our multiply by the reciprocal, so 25 over 2 times 1 over 100. I know that 25 and 100 are both divisible by 25, so 25 becomes 1, 100 becomes 4. Multiply straight across to get 1 over 8 as the final answer. Okay, now moving on to lesson 4, converting rates. First example, we want to convert 100 miles per hour to miles per minute. So we start with what we're given. 100 miles per hour tells me 100 is my numerator, and we want to keep our labels here. So 100 miles per 1 hour. Now if I check what I'm trying to get to, I'm trying to get to miles per minute. I see that I already have my miles. So I don't need to worry about that part. I need to figure out how do I get from hours to minutes. Well, I know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So we're going to multiply. Every time we convert, we are multiplying fractions by one another. If I want to get rid of this hour though, think about what we were just doing on the last slide where we reduce our fractions. If I have something in the numerator and something in the denominator, we can cancel it. So if I put 1 hour in my numerator and 60 minutes in my denominator, my hours will cancel. Now if I check my units, I see I have miles per minute, which is what we wanted. So if we multiply across 100 miles per 60 minutes, because we have 100 times 1 and 1 times 60, but I want to know miles per 1 minute. So if I did 100 divided by 60, that would give us approximately 1.7 miles per minute. So we're looking for a unit rate there, miles per minute. So approximately 1.7 miles per minute. Okay, let's look at another example of that. Tyree and 3 friends attend skydiving class before their first jump. The instructor tells them they will travel at about 176 feet per second. How many miles per hour is this? Okay, again, start with what we're given. We're given 176 feet per 1 second. Trying to get to miles per hour. Now this time, neither of our units match up. I want miles, I have feet. I want hours, I have seconds. So we're going to have to convert both of them this time. It doesn't matter which one you do first. You could either do your distance conversion or your time conversion. You're given some information here. You're told that 1 mile equals 5,280 feet and 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and convert my time first. Trying to get rid of my seconds. It's currently in my denominator, which means I need to move it to my numerator for them to cancel out. We're told this information. So 3,600 seconds is the same as 1 hour. So my seconds have now canceled. Left with hours, which is what I wanted. Now if I convert my distance, my feet are my numerator, which means they need to move to my denominator. We're told that 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. So 5,280 feet in my denominator is the same as 1 mile in my numerator, and my feet have now canceled. Now if I look across, numerator, my only label left is miles. Denominator, my only label left is hours. So miles per hour, which is what I wanted. So if we go ahead and multiply straight across, we would get 633,600 miles per 5,280 feet, hours, which we don't want to leave as out because we want that unit rate of miles per hour. And if we divide, it does divide out evenly to 120 miles per hour. Okay, we will definitely be practicing more of these. So far, we've done some conversions with units that you guys are familiar with. So the last thing to look at would be when we are converting from customary to metric. So customary is the units that we use here, like inches, feet, yards, ounces, gallons, stuff like that, to metric, which is what pretty much the rest of the world uses. So first example, 12 centimeters to inches. Always start with what you're given. So 12 centimeters over 1 times, if I look up here, centimeters to inches. So centimeters is metric. So we're going to look here. 1 centimeter, move to by denominator so that they cancel, is the same as 0.394 inches. Centimeters cancel, left with just inches. We're told to round to the nearest hundredth, so if we take 12 times 0.394, we end up with 4.72 inches. So we know that 12 centimeters is approximately 4.72 inches. And last one, 4 quarts to liters. So we start with 4 quarts over 1 times quarts to liters, so customary to metric this time, right here. So 1 quart is the same as 0.946 liters. My quarts cancel. 4 times 0.946 leaves us with 3.78 liters. Okay, let's try a couple of these. So first one, I want you to simplify 1/5 divided by 7/10. Make sure you show your work, not just an answer. And second one, convert 32 feet per hour into how many yards per day? Again, make sure you show your work with these.